between Evil and Spart1e, and let's go.
Here we are, we're live off on Evil as we sprint into the beginning of Cure. He grabs himself a red, a rocket, a green, and a yellow. He's got all the colors in the rainbow, and Evil finds himself a Spart1e as well and bounces him around effortlessly as if Spart1e weighs nothing, and he gets the first frag. Evil already with the first frag. Spart1e is going to go for some aggression with some dodging there to maximize his output with that lightning gun, but Evil defends remarkably so. I mean, he's always calm under any situation.
Yeah, and we talked about confidence, and this is a wow, strange situation where Evil frags or surprises Spart1e by a drop down, and at the first he didn't even see him being under him. But we talked about confidence, and this is probably now a huge problem for Spart1e. He's going to be 3-0 down, and now what's he going to do? Spart1e is known to be sometimes a little bit of a rager and quits games after, I don't know, 3 minutes. And I'm a little bit anxious about that. He might be just too raised or not confident about now. He's just constantly looking for these fights and is not paying too much attention to where his opponent is and playing enough defensive, and now it's already 5-0 after 1 minute and 20 seconds.
This tends to be something you see a lot in Spart1e games, I think.
Yeah.
You tend to see him, I don't know if you can say, oh, you know, it's him getting angry or making suboptimal decisions because he's angry or something, or or disappointed or not. His decision making is impinged by emotion or something. But this tends to happen a lot in Spart1e games. And the thing is that we tend to see after a few minutes, like Spart1e it just slows down completely after a while, and then he does actually manage to bring the frags back. I can't help but wonder if this doesn't happen. How much? Wow, great rail there. But I just think that if Spart1e did play it cooler, that he wouldn't give up so much in the early stages, because I've seen many games with him where he gives up a lot in the early stages, brings it back, and then it's like super close at the end. Yeah. And that might just happen here, but Evil's hitting like a madman right now.
Yes. Let's see. After he probably gonna frag Spart1e again. And yes, he does. Now I'm gonna check the stats. 57% rail, 45% shaft, which is quite high. Everything above 40% shaft is high. But this map offers some kind of situations where you can really hit easy shaft, so that's probably in Evil's favor, but everyone knows that Evil is an aim beast, an absolute aim beast, and it's 7-0, and we have only seen Evil so far, so I'm gonna switch to Spart1e and hope he doesn't die like in the next 20 seconds or something. Yes, he's standing here underneath the yellow armor, and obviously he wants this, but Evil is screaming, and now he can rocket jump up and take the yellow armor and maybe can apply pressure on one of the major items.
Yeah. 7-0 already, and this is the position that Cypher was using so effectively, and Spart1e going to use it effectively, also gets a kill. And let's see if he can bring it back now with the fast-paced Spart1e style game. And I mean, that's usually what we see. So let's have a look. He's waiting to catch Evil. Doesn't find him just yet. Just chilling above the red right now. Trying to secure the premises. And there it is, going to drop onto Evil, taking this fight with the lightning gun. And Evil does manage to escape there. And Spart1e is a bit worse for wear. There's Evil on the buff, but he hits the mid-air rocket. But Evil with 2 rails in a row. How much is he hitting right now? Is he just hitting everything? I don't even know. A 60% rail is pretty good. That's pretty decent.
Yeah, I would say so. And yet another. And Spart1e dies. He unfortunately doesn't hit the water, so he would have survived, but he died dead. He had died dead anyway. So Evil is back in control, 150 health and now 100 armor for Evil, and he is running straight into Spart1e's rocket. Spart1e tries to play defensive on Cure, which is possible. It is possible to play defensive on Cure, but to be honest, some players tend to play it in a kind of open way. I would encourage them to play more around the teleporter exit near the green armor, not the one at the Mega, the other one. But anyway, 9-0 for Evil already after 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's looking very grim for Spart1e on this first map.
Yeah, very grim indeed. Evil showing unprecedented form on this map for him. I mean, he's usually good here, but this is looking quite dominant. Usually we've seen Spart1e previously to this on Cure matches, you know, he has great skills, great skill sets, but this feels like a map which also doesn't play super well to him. Like he'll do decisions where he'll just, you know, take the Mega, you know, when it's up, and it's just not caring whether it's a, you know, just risking yourself to damage, and usually it ends up, it's cost him games. More than once I've seen it cost him games just going for items just because they're up when, you know, you should leave them. The Mega sometimes you should just, it can be left up for easily 30-40 seconds just because it's so unsafe. It's such a big risk in the right spots. And Evil is going to pick up more armor, and already 11-0 over halfway through now. They catch Spart1e, and again Spart1e knows to go. Evil ran out of shaft cells, but doesn't need anything anymore cells right there for that spot. So Evil, definitely amazing start.
So what can Spart1e do? I think he has lost his map. That's my opinion. But I think it's good that he's still in. He probably should try to gain some confidence for the following match, which probably is T7. Spart1e is pretty awesome on T7. So that's what Spart1e should do. He should find those great fights. I mean, for example, this chef fight was amazing for him. He did probably hit like 80% chef in this fight, or probably above. And he finds Evil again off the spawn. Evil only has a plasma gun and can now go for the red armor. Evil still has only a plasma gun, and he certainly has to kill him. But yes, he does it before the red, which is great. He can now pick up the red and has time to either find Evil and kill him, or position himself very good for the next fight. He goes through the teleporter, which is quite a risk. Evil had the shotgun there and could have made easily 125 or 120 damage, but nonetheless he managed to do it. So now this is the fight for Mega Health, and he can get in with a rocket jump and can even go on the upper ledge, which is important to position yourself for the red and take it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Spart1e, he makes frags back, but it's a bit deceptive, really, in its nature, because it's most certainly misleading, because he makes frags back, but that doesn't really mean that he's getting headway into the game.
No.
Because the risk that he takes to get those frags is usually an inefficient kind of process. You see scorelines like this, you know, are the result of that sort of process. So Spart1e, we need to see him stepping it up, but the problem is that the next map is going to be Silence, which is actually a great map for Evil. He's really good there. I mean, back in the days when it came out, Evil was already making his mark. Originally, that's CZM winning the Silence Cup, which we casted, my first cast ever. Oh yeah. But after that, shortly after that, Evil started to really become amazing, exerting his style, where he could show that on Silence you don't need the rail so much. You can just use the LG, and that kind of broke it a little bit for a lot of people, because a lot of people thought, it's kind of like a one-sided match, a bit like DM6 in a way, when one guy gets control, it's too hard, you need to hit the rails. But Evil showed that you can win it without even firing a single rail. So very interested to see what Spart1e has to offer on Silence, because we know that Evil's got the goods.
Yeah, I think I'm really wondering how Spart1e is going to try to play in the first 2 minutes on Silence, because on this map he played very aggressive from the start, and then he lost, and then he lost more, and now he is 13-5 down, make it 13-6. But yeah, let's see in Silence. I think you should play something like Agent against Evil, or this could be a possibility, because Agent used to play it extremely defensive on Silence, while we have here now only a 6-point game, and it's still 60 seconds to go. I'm not saying this is impossible, but let's see. Spart1e is chasing Evil, and Evil is dropping down, hitting some crazy grenades, but gets down nonetheless. 5 frags to go, 45 seconds, and Spart1e is on the run. He just needs to get himself into a good mood for the start, but don't be too aggressive, please. Don't be too aggressive in the start of Silence, because then it will look probably the exact same as on this map.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier, like it's deceptive, because at the end, ends up being a bit close, but in reality, Evil had the game from 0-0-0-0 right at the start, when the timer started, and you had the game. So we'll see if Spart1e indeed can show us something for this Silence. But here are the last 10 seconds of the first map. If you just joined us, this is the second semi-final. The winner of this semi-final will play against Cypher in the grand final. And as Atomigo pointed out, there's many Cypher Evil grand finals we're seeing lately, and that is for good reason. They're both extremely awesome at the moment. So, and also actually, we should remind ourselves that DreamHack is only 4 weeks away. It's what is the date today? It's like the 27th, and DreamHack is November the 28th. So it's a month away, and these players are all getting in gear to try to get their form in shape so that they can make some good results, Spart1e included. So Evil, I think he's going to want to have the back-to-back DreamHack winter titles, and I guess that's going to be kind of a little bit of the storyline. I mean, there's a huge storyline with Rafa and Evil. That's a huge storyline, and I won't really be able to get to talk about that because we're live straight into Silence, map number 2 between these two guys, and it's good for Evil and Spart1e. He's got to show us something. We're on him to begin with. What can we see from him? Oh my god, what a horrendous start for the Swede there. Evil absolutely off to a blinder, and right there he's going to catch Spart1e again. Spart1e has no weapons, not even the LG. Oh, the LG was there for him to pick up, but Evil does not care. He's just going to chase him through teleporter after teleporter, and it was the last cell remaining. He gets the frag, and my goodness, 2-0 already in the first 30 seconds. It's a lot of time for Spart1e to bring this back, but Evil's going to start off with quite a significant advantage.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I said before that I really wish that Spart1e doesn't screw up the first seconds of this game, but at the moment it looks like he more or less just did it. I mean, it was a bit unfortunate for him that the first rocket of Evil was that good, because otherwise if Evil went for the mega health and Spart1e could just use his weapon advantage with the shaft, then probably it would look differently. Anyway, it just looks exactly the same as on Cure before, and Evil is just very dominant at the start. Spart1e keeps on aggressing and is now 6 frags down again after 1 minute and 15 seconds, and I mean, wow. Spart1e had again only 1 item. We saw that before, Ash versus Cypher, where Ash had no items at all, and Spart1e had only 1 red so far, after 1 minute and 30 seconds. So 6 frags down, nothing to play with. That's very hard. What can he do?
It's really hard for him. I mean, he needs to definitely stop losing frags. The thing is about games like this is that generally you tend to have this buffer. You can say, okay, I can lose this many frags and it's kind of okay. This is how many chances I have to still be in the game even if it fails. Spart1e blew all those chances in the first minute and a half, it feels like. Of course, you can get a lot of frags back, but not necessarily in the speed and kind of in the same fashion that Evil did. So the thing about this is that, what can he do? Well, he needs to basically hit everything and play really solid. I mean, that sounds just like really ambiguous, but it really is true. He needs to get a kill on Evil and run control flawlessly. And the thing is, Evil's going to start playing defensively at that point, and he's going to start picking up those LGs and those rails. And Spart1e's just going to have to just push in, take fights that suck for him, and he's going to have to win them. And that's the position he's put himself in the first couple of minutes.
Yes. Or first couple of seconds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me that's very sad to see, because probably some guys are gonna blame the map for this, but it's just not the case. I think Spart1e had an unfortunate start. Yes, it was 1-0, but after that he just went very aggressive and didn't take his time. Maybe he could afford like 1, 2, 3 frags in the start, lose to get 1 or 2 items back and get proper weapons, but he didn't do that, and I don't really blame the map for that. He was just too aggressive at the start, which I hoped he wouldn't do, but he did it. And now Spart1e hitting some really good rockets there and can probably take the 50 HP bubble, so it's looking decent for him, so he can finally come back on the scoreboard, because now he has the red and some items, and we're gonna watch Spart1e a little bit to see what he's doing. He has no railgun at the moment, but he has the shaft and he also has the rocket, and the railgun is probably very important to do some free damage against Evil, because in an open fight, for example with shaft, I wouldn't go into this fight against Evil. He's waiting here patiently for the red to spawn, and Evil just charges in and doesn't take too much damage, hits a perfect rocket, and now can chase Spart1e down, and Spart1e's down again, and we're again back on Evil's path.
It feels like Spart1e just doesn't care enough, you know? It just feels like in an online tournament he doesn't care enough, because, I mean, against Evil, you know, even I wouldn't give up the scoreline, you know, this fast and so on. I mean, because there's standard ways to play where you can play defensively that limits what the other opponent can do, no matter how good he is, assuming that you have, you know, some decent aim. So really, it's really sad that it feels like Spart1e doesn't care so much, but I don't know. It's hard to really speak to it, because 11-0, do you continue to say, okay, Spart1e's going to do this, that, or the other, when Spart1e seems to be doing some mindless moves, almost, in some senses. But right now, if we just take it for what it is right now, he just picked up a Mega, he's got 100 armor, he's going to have the red now as well. So, I mean, now we have this situation, we'll probably see Spart1e playing quite seriously, because he's got the advantage. He's not playing from behind, he's not playing from position where his opponent's just out, like, winning all the fights. So now it's his chance to win a fight. He's going to take one against Evil, but he just gets absolutely destroyed. I mean, Evil just made him look like a complete newbie right there with that fight. Didn't take any damage, not even a lick of damage.
Yeah, he made a move through the teleporter, which you can do maybe against a 1,500 elo player and destroy him, but Evil just hit the perfect rockets there, and he pushed him back into the wall, so he could do more damage with the rockets and then just completely destroy him without taking almost any damage at all. So Evil is back in control and now gets fragged by Spart1e, and finally this is probably the first time where Spart1e caught Evil out with unexpectedly, because Evil had the rail out and Spart1e had the rockets, and then he completely destroyed him because, yeah, Evil couldn't do anything. And Spart1e tries to position himself now for the Mega Health, and he went down with the help of the pillar and can take the Mega Health. Finally, he's going to yellow, stacking up, and Evil is above him. So he now probably needs to find a good position to put pressure on Evil, and this is kind of a problem on Silence. It's very hard if the other guy plays defensively to get a proper position to really do damage and put pressure on him, because you can always go the other way, you can do tele dances or whatever. Let's see, but Evil is now in a bad position because his back is open and he has to plus back, and Evil kind of positioned himself in an open way there, which I don't agree if you played a perfect defensive game, but I mean, if you hit very interesting grenades, to say the least, it doesn't really matter.
Evil won a game like that before, or rather, like, he's gonna lose, guaranteed, like, he's gonna lose in overtime. It was about to be like an overtime for sure, and the other guy would have had control. But then he hit like 2 or 3 perfect direct grenades on the defense. Defense, he didn't have any other weapon, and then he won. It's like, what? Yeah, he's got some moves with the grenades sometimes. But yeah, we've got 2.5 minutes left, and it, you know, it's interesting because, you know, you have these games sometimes where you're like, you look to the clock and you're like, oh my god, 7 minutes passed already, and it's like, it's because the story is still being told. Whereas with games like this, you feel like after even 30 seconds, the story has been told. You feel like you know what is going to happen, and it feels that way. I mean, Spart1e is just, he's fighting still, but he's not likely to be able to win this. In 2 minutes, he's going to have to get 12 frags. I don't believe that's so possible against Evil and Silence, and it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to test Evil really. But of course, as you said, you know, you're going to have another grand final, which is going to be comprised of Evil and Cypher, 2 amazing players, 2 players who will both put their all into the match, and 2 players who are going to show us a great game. And right now, 2 minutes left, and Spart1e, hopefully, okay, you know, some people can't take the online tournaments as seriously. Hopefully we see a seriously sick Spart1e when we are into the competition at DreamHack in 1 month's time. I'm sure he's going to be seen in the FACEIT Cups. Great training, and for all the kind of aspiring players out there as well. So, you know, you need to get yourself playing those tournaments. Just grind those big cups so you can get used to the tournament conditions and the nerves. Dealing with all that kind of stuff is really important. You to grind those games, and it's a very big difference to just practicing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not that used to playing tournaments. I sometimes play tournaments, but I don't play them too often. And it's a huge difference between, if you're not that used to it, between practice games and tournament games. And we see an Evil just staying there, not moving his mouse, not moving anywhere, and just spamming the teleport reaction, and finally fraging Spart1e. This looks a little bit, I don't know, arrogant or I don't know.
Well, he knows it's like over.
Yeah, he already relaxed all his muscles and said, okay, now I have to play Cypher again. He could probably stay in a corner and not do anything at all and win this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Backstein did once. That was funny. Where he just stood in the corner for the last 6 minutes or something, or 4 minutes was it? It was crazy. So 10 seconds to go, and we're gonna see another Cypher versus Evil final.
Yep, we've seen a lot of them lately. I'm happy to see another one. It's always good to see two of the best, no matter how many times you've seen it before. You probably always see something new. So here we go, guys. That is it. Very, very, very easy work for Evil to defeat Spart1e. Feels like Spart1e's head wasn't so into the game in this series, unfortunately. But I guess that's that for that game. And we're going to have, as we've mentioned many times already, Evil versus Cypher for our grand finals here for the 4th Sunday Cup of the full season. It'll be coming up right after this quick little break. So don't go anywhere, guys. Get some refreshments, as this will be the last match of the day, and it's going to be a great one. So we'll see you very soon.